Fosdau Castle is located in a quiet sector of southern Belgium, and it dates back to the 14th century. Sometime around 1380, the Duchess of Brabant gave it away as a gift, and after 600 years of modifications and additions, this is what it looks like today. KG and I were lucky enough to get a tour of the place, and we managed to secure some private fields nearby for some exploration in hopes of finding some local history or maybe even some castle treasure. We've got a lot of searching in the days ahead, so while KG asks his new friend for good fortune, I take a moment to focus in the calm before the storm.
With KG and RINGY.
Well, we're in Belgium again, and this time we're going to get to see a really cool old castle. If we can manage to bring this temperamental old bird in for a smooth landing, that is. Belgium became recognized as an independent nation in 1830, and the first king of the Belgians, Leopold I, was sworn in 1831. KG and I are excited to help some local crews hunt some private permissions in the neighborhood of a magnificent old castle that dates back long before that, in order to recover some Belgian history and possibly something even older. In addition to medieval castles, Belgium is known for a couple of other things that we find pretty interesting, like chocolate, waffles, and of course beer. So here's hoping we run into some of that stuff along the way as well. Let's get this ball rolling and see what we can find. Soon after entering the first field, one of the detectorists, I think it was Vince, showed us an unusual looking coin with shields and an almost Art Deco style crown on one side. It was one of the few coins with a legible date, 1939, so we were able to attribute it to Leopold III, who was king of the Belgians from 1934 to 1951. He was a king with mixed reviews and even called the traitor king by some after surrendering to Hitler's armies after only 2 days of fighting. But it gave us a great jumping off point for a look back at the history of the Belgian monarchy.
Big fat musket ball right there. Ha ha! Musket ball. Musket ball.
Look at this weird, awesome thing. Some kind of bomb that falls, explodes, and creates all kinds of havoc with shrapnel flying through the air.
And these are scored like that, so when the bomb blows, these will break apart, and this is the shrapnel that will take you out. Pa-ping, pa-ping.
World War II shrapnel in the pock for Ringy. Oh, that must be more bomb shrapnel. Look at that. Little round lead ball. Normally I would think that came out of a gun, like shoot. But no, out here, it was bomb shrapnel being dropped by planes.
I'm going along, swinging my old detector, looking for nectar. I get a hit, and I look down, and right on the surface, there's a piece of a clay pipe stem. We're talking ancientness right here. Somebody was here puffing on the old cigar out of the old clay pipe. But then I pick that up, go over 2 feet, and look what I find. Looks like a World War II rifle casing. World War II, I mean, massive troops interacting right here. marching. We got a super ancient castle behind us. This is cool. We got multiple layers of nectar. World War II casing in the pock, baby.
We're in the neighborhood of Fausto Castle in Belgium, looking for Belgian history and possibly something even older. KG and I have been finding a bunch of World War II shrapnel and round balls from bombs, which is interesting and fun, but we're really looking for stuff with a little more age on it, so it's great to see a few older objects like KG's pipe stem and true musket balls. I was warming up as well with this old bale seal and this cool horsehead livery button that could be from the 19th century. So, anyone notice my loaner shovel? Yep, I'm digging in style this week. After giving my NX5 away to a very persuasive and charming young lady at a previous stop on the tour, I had to borrow this pink one for the rest of the trip. Vielen Dank, Janina. I'm hearing another good signal right here, so let's see what this is. Well, it's a massive, heavy coin, but really worn and hard to read. Almost looks like lead. Half the fun of this hunt is just trying to bridge the language gap. I should have paid more attention in junior high French class instead of daydreaming about the teacher. She was pretty, it was distracting.
1917. So 1917. Yeah, okay, a 1917 coin right there.
This is a big old World War I era Belgian coin. It's kind of pale and dusty looking because it's made out of zinc. 1917. The Belgian king at that time, Albert I, had his work cut out for him as the Germans had invaded and taken over huge portions of the country. With the German occupation threatening to become permanent, Albert not only took command of the Belgian troops, but also fought alongside them at the front. After failed negotiations for peace and with the help of the French and British armies, the Belgians were finally able to repel the Germans, and King Albert was able to return to Brussels with his family and a lot of kingly popularity. Unfortunately, about 15 years later, he died after a fall while mountain climbing all by himself, despite the fact that he was an expert mountaineer. Of course, this led to the development of several conspiracy theories on how he may have been murdered. Cool coin. It's got a lot of history and mystery behind it. Let's see what's next.
There it is, sticking out of the clump, right there. Oh, it's got a big 5 on it. A 5 and a hole in it. Could be some kind of token, some kind of rare castle token that's perfectly round with a perfectly centered hole. I don't think so. It's probably a little newer. Look at that giant 5 on it right there. 1920. Definitely not something that would have been created in the castle or, you know, by the king or whatever, but you can't ignore a signal like this. It could have been a hammered silver coin. You never know, it was a nice mid-tone. Still a pretty cool find.
This center-hold coin was made during the reign of Albert I, just like the 1917 25 centimes coin I found, and interestingly, was minted in 2 different languages. In addition to the Dutch version I found here, there was also a French version floating around out there in 1920. I think this is the first time I've ever heard of a complete coin being translated into another language. Kinda cool.
You gotta love finding old coinage. That's silver era, so we're on the right track.
All right, and another slot on the timeline gets filled.
Very beautiful.
Jupiter! You come to Belgium, what are you gonna dig up? Jupiter beer tops. That's right. One of the best beers in Belgium right there.
Yep, we've been known to sample one of those from time to time. Well, maybe a tiny bit more than a sample, occasionally. Okay, this is making me thirsty, but it's not break time yet.
Oh, look at that. Definite roundness in the hole, right here. Look at that. Round coin edge sticking right out. And it is a coin. Roundness for sure. Look at that. Oh, there's a big lion on it. He's standing up. That is a pretty cool coin. A lot of detail. We're talking 1800s, 2 cents it says. It's gotta be from Belgium. 1876.
I love finding coins from the 1800s. How great is this? An 1876 Belgian 2-cent piece. Unfortunately, the King of Belgium at that time was not so great. Leopold II was a scary dude that had workers and their little children mutilated and dismembered if they weren't perceived to be working hard enough. So we're gonna move on before we have a Debbie Downer moment. Crazy stuff. Not the best king, but it is a pretty awesome looking lion coin.
1876 coin at an old castle, and we're out here. We're gonna try to get even older.
Fostel Castle is amazing. The main gate here even has the traditional chute over the door so you can pour boiling oil down on the heads of your enemies. Ah, the good old days.
I'm over here in Belgium with some of my good friends and new friends. I'm going along out in this old field. There's medieval stuff, modern stuff, and Roman stuff. Even when you're in the oldest country or place in the world, you still gotta use your eyeballs. What does KG always say? Right on the surface. Look at this. Sticking right out of the ground, perfectly on end. Look at, hey, how's it going? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Look at that, you ready? Look at that, right on in, sticking straight out. Look at the lion on it. Check out that lion on it. Probably not very old. That's still pretty cool. A Becla Leon with a lion. It's probably 1867, like one of the first coins that Belgium had when it became its own country. I have no clue if that's even remotely close, but I'm going with that.
Wow, look at this. Now we're getting somewhere. 1861. KG just found a coin from the reign of Leopold I, the very first king of Belgium. He was elected to the throne in 1831 as the country took its first baby steps and ruled until 1865. This guy got around, fighting with Russia against Napoleon, was a well-known and respected mediator in European politics, supported the building of Belgium's first railroad line, and even helped facilitate marriages, including that of Queen Victoria. His major goal was to keep Belgium neutral, however, and in spite of some uprisings and economic setbacks, he managed to successfully maintain the country's neutrality throughout his reign. How cool is this? We've managed to cover all the Belgian kings from World War II back to the beginning of Belgium itself. Good work, Cage. That's a first king coin for the king.
Very cool old find.
Now let's go see if we can find something even older.
Check it out! Another coin! Look at that! That one looks like an old time coin. It's not Roman age, but I'm thinking this probably dates back into the 1800s. Yeah! Oh, I can see a date on this baby! Yeah, this makes me excited. I'm in Belgium digging up nectar. 1825! Wow! Can you believe it? Check it out. 1825 coin. I don't know what kind of a coin it is, but it's an awesome coin.
KG just found the first coin that predates Belgium as an independent country. It's a copper 1-cent coin from 1827, which bears the big old W for Willem I, King of the Netherlands.
Life is good for KG and Ringy.
Life is indeed good for KG and Ringy, but especially for KG-O-Matic. KG is killing me. He's got another pre-Belgium Willem I coin, and it's even older.
Nice!
Tiny little thing. It's a ½ cent from 1822 with a mint mark B for Brussels. It's got the W on it just like its full cent big brother. That gets us one more entry filled on the timeline of kings. Cool find for Cage. Can't say I'm not a little jealous.
Good, good.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. I started out hot and then got stuck at 1876 while KG has pulled 3 or 4 coins in a row that blow that one away. This is not making me happy. Looks like KG is on another good signal right now.
Mystery coin.
Yep, KG did it. It's a copper duet coin from the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands in the time of the Dutch Republic. And it's got a legible date from 1788. Looks like the reign of the king continues. Back in the original field, I hit one more signal and was able to unearth yet another little dusty copper disc with a hint of remaining relief.
Monet, dig up. Yes, de Monet. For ringing. Yes.
After some careful cleanup, the coin finally started to show some detail. It's a little hard to make out, but it's the exact same coin as KG's. It's a Dutch Republic do-it from the city of Utrecht, and it's 1784. It's a tiny victory, but at least I beat him by 4 years, so I'll take it. And this 1784 date comes with some interest attached to it, because there were a number of bizarre things happening around that time, including catastrophic flooding, volcanic eruptions, and even the Great Meteor of 1783. In February of 1784, after a really long and brutally cold winter, a warming trend melted huge ice jams and devastated towns all along the rivers. There was wild speculation as to what caused the cold winter in the first place, but the summer before, in 1783, there was a massive volcanic eruption in Iceland that killed off half the livestock, and eventually, about 20% of the country's human population perished in the ensuing famine. There was something they called the Great Fog back then, which was probably volcanic gases and ash. And just like in the days of the dinosaurs, everything got colder and nastier for a while. Even Benjamin Franklin wrote a paper in 1784 that attributed the cold winter and subsequent flooding to the eruption, which along with El Nino probably really did affect the weather that year. Pretty smart dude. Our matching Dutch Republic coins from the 1780s are the key to moving us back yet another notch on the Belgian timeline.
I love it.
There were a few unidentifiable coins that were so destroyed by farm chemicals and the elements, the dates were completely gone, but we were still able to ID a few. One of them came out of my pouch, and it looks pretty darn old. This is a copper ore from the 1700s. Definitely predates Belgium, and it comes from the Austrian-ruled Netherlands and the House of the Habsburgs. That means it was minted sometime from 1744 to 1794. Unfortunately for me, I can't make out the date, so I'll have to default to 1794. Oh well, at least I broke the 1800s barrier again, and we can complete the timeline now. Pretty awesome hunt with some incredibly nice people, and it was cool to see all the different bits and baubles that turned up, including these nice blue and white pieces of porcelain I picked off the surface. Looks like we're all in agreement that this could be part of an old vase, but I'm thinking this whole collection of shards are from the same vase, and it was probably in the castle at one point in time. Based on the 1780s coins we found in the area, I'm thinking that the previously mentioned Great Meteor of 1783, shown here being observed from the terrace at Windsor Castle in England, probably took just the right angle as it descended and smashed through the castle window here in Belgium, directly impacting the vase on the sideboard. This devastating impact would have caused shards of porcelain to explode out the window into the nearby field, where I've just recovered them. Once reassembled, I'll have a unique and priceless meteor explosion castle vase that will be the envy of any museum. There we go. Good as new. This should bring a pretty penny at auction.
Without a doubt, the restored vase is likely to fetch 6 figures at the Sotheby's auction in Brussels this weekend. Like that one.
Using a protractor and an abacus, I have determined that the ringmaster's trajectory measurements are indeed correct. I expect you'll be getting a Nobel Prize for 18th century media impact calculations at this year's AMPA convention. I will be submitting my research papers in support of his theory to the ECMIR Academy no later than tomorrow afternoon.
I'll give you £2.5 sterling and a case of what is red barrel for it, mate.
Dude, there's no way the Great Meteor of 1783 landed in Belgium. I mean, look at the math. It actually broke up somewhere over France or Italy. But whatever.
Alright, so we may have derailed a bit here at the end with the meteor trajectory calculations and such, but KG and I both found some cool Belgian history, and we both ended up with copper duat coins from the 1780s. It was a well-fought battle with no clear winner, so in honor of Belgium's King Leopold I, we're going to keep this episode neutral. No winner, no loser, and no unwarranted punishment. However, the Meteor Explosion Castle Vase, or MECV as we refer to it now, did not sell at the auction house, so we've decided to hit it with a baseball bat. And just for good measure, I'm going to hit another vase with my driver.
Ready for this?
That should keep your Jones for destruction and punishment in check for another couple of days at least. Oh yeah, baby. Smash and grab. Join us again next time for more history and amazing adventures on Diggin' with KG and Ringy.
That hurts. Hurts my head because I'm getting old.
I'm too old for that. Too old for that. Beating up Ringy. Been beating him up for 7 years. He keeps coming back for more. Let's go. It's a wrap?
That's a wrap.
Is it a wrap? Yeah, it's a wrap.
Inside the box.